Every day, Robert asked his elder brother to take him with his company of friends, but in response he only heard, "Hey idiot, better stay with the old man. As you're the youngest son, I don't need you." Robert's father was always working hard, as he owned a lot of land. He tried to make sure that his children would not need anything. When his wife became seriously ill, they decided to make a will. According to it, Jack would inherit the cottage on the prairie. The second son, Tom, would get a plot of land and a hotel at the foot of the mountain. The third son, Albert, would receive the house where the family was living, and to the youngest son, Robert, the parents bequeathed the old car. When the notary was making the will, it seemed strange to him, since Robert was the most beloved son. He was also embarrassed by the smiling faces of the spouses when they were discussing the inheritance. When the father died, it was a tragedy only for Robert. The rest of the children immediately began to enjoy their lives and dispose of the inheritance they had received. When the notary handed Robert the papers for the old car, he advised him not to despair. When your parents were making their will, they were mysteriously smiling. At the same time, they were telling good things about you. "I'm sure this car is not so simple," the man said to the guy. "Also, your father told me to give you this envelope. Here is $10,000 and a letter. He told you to use the money to fix the car, and when you're done, you should read the letter." When Robert was taking the car, his brothers were laughing at him. The old clunker was falling apart before their eyes. When the young man started repairing, he did not even suspect that the parts would be so expensive. As a result, he spent almost $10,000 on them. When he finished, he opened the father's letter. "Dear son, I want you to do two things. First, take the car to a second-hand car dealership and ask how much they will offer you for it. After you know the price, go back and read the letter." When Robert went to the dealers, he was very surprised that he was offered only $5,000 for the car. This made him very upset, because he had practically no money left to live on. The second part of the letter said that now Robert had to find out the price of the car at the auction. So the young man registered to take part in it. That day, Robert was very nervous among the luxuriously dressed millionaires around him, and then it was his turn. "So Bugatti Atlantic 1940. The starting price is $3 million, the man announced. Robert couldn't believe his ears. As a result, the car was sold for $11 million. When the young man arrived home, he finished reading his father's letter. "Son, never judge people by what they have. People should be judged by their actions." Thus, Robert received from his parents not only the money, but also a valuable lesson. He had become a millionaire to envy of his brothers, started his own business, and got married.